Hello there YouTube, my name's Adam from Gunjack, coming at you guys today with a review of the AGM M14. Before we get into the replica, let's dive into the gun's real steel history. The M14 is an American battle rifle derived from the famed World War II rifle, the M1 Garand. After World War II, engineer John Garand continued development of the M1, which led to the final M14 design. The M14 controversially defeated the FAL in U.S. Army trials, leading to its adoption by the Army in 1957. It was eventually replaced on front lines by the M16 in 1969, but the M14 found a new role as a DMR. It is still in use today in combat roles and in ceremonial roles, and it is the longest serving infantry rifle in U.S. Army history.
I'm going to say the rumors are true. This is really a lot of a handful of gun.
The AGM M14 comes in a styrofoam box and comes with most everything you need to get started. Included is the M14, some unbranded unidentified BBs, a cheap sling, 2 high-cap magazines, a wall charger, an 8.4 volt battery, an unjamming rod, and a plastic rail cover that doesn't fit the muzzle properly. I would recommend to not use the sling since it appears to be little more than a cheap luggage strap, and I also advise to not use the included BBs since they are of low quality and unknown weight. The M14's front sight is adjustable side to side for windage, but not adjustable for elevation. The front sight is also attached to the flash hider in one metal casting. The flash hider does attach via threads, but it is removable only with a castle nut wrench, and the threading appears to be larger than 14mm, meaning it'll be unable to use most aftermarket flash hiders if they are. The M14 includes 2 mounting points for a sling, one right behind the gas block and another to the rear of the stock. The AGM version comes in close to 12 pounds, so a solid sling may be a decent investment if you plan to stay mobile out on the field. The plastic stock of the AGM M14 isn't very good. There's a large and pronounced seam running down the middle that could have been solved at the factory with some good QC and a little sanding. The plastic quality is similar to a low-end L96 stock, and it's not very tactile apart from the ugly plastic seam. The M14 comes with 2 400-round high-cap magazines, which rocks in and locks like an AK magazine. The magazine well also houses the adjustment dial for the hop-up. It's a little confined with the magazine inserted, but it's pretty easy to adjust on the fly when you need to. The AGM M14 includes an optic mount by default, and it looks to be decent quality. It can be removed with one thumb screw if you prefer to use the iron sights. It is a standard Picatinny rail, and it should be long enough to mount a sniper scope if you want to go that route. There's also a bolt release right below it, but it's only cosmetic. The charging handle on this M14 is only cosmetic, but it does cam back and forth like the real M14. I should note that the spring will often jam up the charging handle in the stock, so you might need to give it a good pull back if it rides forward too hard. The rear sight is located on the back of the receiver, and it is adjustable for windage and elevation. The M14's fire selector is located to the right of the rear sight. When the pointy end is on the top side, it is on semi-automatic. If the pointy end is on the bottom side, it's on full automatic. Like most M14 replicas, this selector is not labeled. The safety of the M14 is found in the front of the trigger guard. It feels pretty spongy and only functions to block the trigger physically instead of acting as a true on-off switch. Be aware that if you don't push the safety switch back far enough, the trigger will have enough leverage to be pulled and the gun can fire unintentionally. The rear of the stock features a flip-up shoulder rest. It can be stowed downward, but the spring tension that holds it down is pretty loose and it flops around more than I'd like. If there is a way to tighten down the shoulder rest, it isn't made obvious. The battery is stored in the stock, right behind a latch similar to an M16. The AGM M14 is wired to small Tamiya connectors, and the battery space is enough to where you shouldn't have to worry about fitment issues with most standard battery configurations. The M14 comes with a version 7 gearbox and is compatible with many upgrade parts. The AGM will come in at around 360 to 400 FPS, making it a good candidate to take into woodland games. Its maximum effective range should round out at around 110 feet stock. So, what's the final verdict on this gun? Well, it's a decent jumping in option for a newcomer to battle rifles. AGM is not known for streamlined designs or excellent quality replicas, and unfortunately, some of that reputation is apparent in this replica. With that said, the AGM M14 has been a staple starter gun for fans of the platform for a while, and it's been a hard bargain for years at only $189 new. It's hard to go wrong with for the price, even if it's a little rough around the edges. You can often find it for even lower in certain colorways when retailers have a sale. Well, that about does it for this review. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider leaving a like or a comment and subscribing, since I do have more Airsoft content coming. Thanks again, and as always, stay frosty.